welcome everyone to a very special Reiki healing live stream. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Amanda, welcome. Nice to have you here. Thanks for coming. Tonight is a very special live stream event that I've got a friend of mine, Psychic Bear Ryan, is going to be joining me on the show here shortly. And we're going to have a little talk. We're going to talk about spirituality. We're going to talk a little bit about Ryan and where he comes from and his experiences as a psychic medium, and a little bit about his gifts and some stories that he has to share. Talk a little bit about spirituality, the healing journey. We're going to talk about Reiki and just get his take and get his stories and get his perspective on life and the universe and things, and take some questions from you guys. I think it'll be a really fun evening. Nice to see you here, Kat. Allie, welcome. Thank you so much for coming by, everyone. You guys are absolutely amazing. So while we wait for our special guest, I'm just going to start off with a little Reiki blessing. I always set the intention and I say, may we receive whatever it is we're meant to receive tonight for our greatest and highest good, and so it is. We're just going to let the Reiki flow for a little while. Good evening, Tim. Hey, Kimmy. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming by tonight for this special live stream event. Just starting us off with a little Reiki blessing, just to kind of warm us up, help us receive whatever we're meant to receive for our greatest and highest good. Ryan should be along shortly. I'm going to take some selenite, do a little sweeping. Hey Jesse, thank you for the rose, and welcome. You guys are so kind, have such great energy. Hey Ryan, welcome. Are you ready to hop on the live stream? Let me know if you're all ready and I'll invite you into the virtual studio. Just start off with a little Reiki blessing. Sweeping. Allie's gonna clean her cache. Still not sure what that means. Cookies and things being stored. Alright, Ryan, take your time. We're just sweeping with some selenite. Helping us release any stagnant energy, anything lingering around. You're all set? Okay. Let me see if I can do this correctly. Little voice in my head, I was born ready. Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Hello, Ryan. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Oh, let me just disconnect. There we go. Turn up my volume a little bit so I can hear you.
Yeah, me too.
Great to have you on, man. Thanks for joining, agreeing to come on.
Hi,
That's
everybody.
really cool.
Thank you. Very cool.
Everybody, welcome Ryan. Psychic Bear Ryan has been a steady frequenter of my Reiki healing live streams for many weeks now, and we've had some chats. I feel like he's very connected to Source. He's a really cool guy. He has a very unique perspective on life, and he's here to share some wisdom with us, talk about his experiences, and maybe share some stories and take some questions. We're going to talk a little about spirituality, our healing journeys, talk a little bit about spirit guides, maybe, and angels, the other side, and kind of like whatever crops up. So welcome, Ryan. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Matt. Thank you. Thank you.
It's wonderful, man. So you've been a psychic medium for quite a long time now. How long have you been a psychic medium for?
About 30 years.
30 years. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
So about how old were you when you first discovered that you had gifts like this?
It was probably my early 20s. It was when I really started experiencing heavy-duty psychic stuff, we'll say. Okay. I started having the visions a lot more heavier. I started having thoughts, and it really started escalating from that point on in my early 20s.
Okay. So was there an event that brought that on, or did it just kind of start happening one day?
I've had the thoughts process even when I was younger. I just ignored it because I thought it was just my overactive mind type of thing. But there was one instance that I think I told you about. I was at that bar stop. Remember that? I told you about that one.
Oh yeah, Share this. Feel free to share the story.
Okay, that was the first time I really knew something was going on because I was at a bar visiting, some friends, and some party was going on, and I was there having a beer outside of the picnic table. So, anyways, long story short, this lady in white comes walking up to me, and I stand up and I'm like, "Yes, can I help you? Did you know you're a white light?" And I'm sitting there like dumbfounded, and I'm like, "No," and she says, "Can I give you a hug?" And I said yes, so she gave me a hug. And she said to me, "Just remember you're going to do some really good things." I'm like, "Okay." And she just walked away into the bar. So then I'm frantically like, "Who is this lady? What's going on? What's that?" I didn't know who this lady was, and I had no idea what was happening. So years later, I found out that was my great aunt Peggy, who had passed away 20 years before I was even born. So I had no idea who this lady was at all, family-wise. So that was a lady that came up to me that day, and that's when it really started sinking in, like, yeah, I'm going to be doing some good things, I guess. You know what I mean?
That is absolutely wild.
It was.
So you had that visitation when you were in your early 20s?
Yes.
And how did you feel when you discovered that was your great aunt afterwards?
I didn't think anything about it, but when it happened, but when I found out, I was like, my mouth was like kind of dropping, like really? And then everything started meshing together and meshing. I started understanding more about me doing what I'm doing these days. So that's basically what was the end for me when this whole thing started.
Wow. So yeah, because I know in my early 20s, I know that's a period of time where you're still very much discovering yourself. You're still kind of finding your place in the world and seeing like what you're meant to do, and you're trying different things. So how do you think this newfound gift, like how do you think it affected your 20s, and how did it shift your kind of path once that started?
Okay, so yeah, I was sort of like, we'll say, hypothetically on a path of destruction with like drugs and alcohol.
I totally feel that. I could definitely share stories. My 20s especially, I was in the military. There was not much to do where I was stationed except to drink and party. Mm-hmm. So I spent a lot of my time doing that. So I could definitely identify.
Yeah, so when that happened, that totally changed my whole mindset. And I'm like, okay, so have you really thinking? And I actually kept going a destructive route because I just thought, I'm like, yeah, it's just, I didn't think anything of it at all at the time. I just thought, yeah, I was just drunk. Something happened, So anyways, fast forward 10, 20 years. After I found this out, I moved to Florida about 11 years ago. Okay, and by then, I was lonely, sitting in the house, having all these thoughts, all these visions, everything, and I'm like, I didn't know what to do. So I moved to Florida 11 years ago when I met my husband, and he is solely the man that got me off the drugs, the alcohol. He kept me busy, let's say. So I credit him with helping me do it on my own without anything. So from that point on, I had to stop it again between the 11 years because my life had to take that course first before I could continue the reading. So I had to spend time with him for those 11 years until his timely passing back in 2020. The next day, after his passing, the next day I'm in bed, waking up. I feel a tap on my back. And it just kept going like this, kept feeling. I'm like, honey, what do you want? I looked over and he wasn't there. And that's really when it sunk in, like, this is now the second calling after. So I had to fast forward, I had to stop my life readings just for that 11-year period to take care of him and do that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So that was started right back up, right after he passed.
So that was kind of like your second wake-up call.
Yeah, pretty much.
The universe was kind of saying like, hey, you've got these wonderful gifts, maybe it's time you start sharing them with the world.
Yeah, pretty much. That was pretty much it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm outside is because I found out I'm one with nature, and I feel more comfortable outside with the nature and just everything.
I love it. So I've, as most of you know, I've taken a trip to upstate New York, and while my scene very much appears the same, I'm very much like way tucked away in the wilderness up here in a tiny house, and it's a huge difference from being down in New Jersey because there's such a hustle and bustle. I live in an apartment, so there's all these energies around you, above you, on either side from these families, and there's people coming and going, a lot of noise. Up here, it's like it's got this psychic quiet, where everything's very still. You can very much get in the vibe of nature, and it's just like a steady thrum that's it's invigorating as it is calming and relaxing. It's very grounding. And I do love being up here like a lot. So I totally feel you. But to speak to your story, I mean, that's a fantastic story of spiritual awakening and coming into yourself. And for myself, reflecting, like I had a similar path because I've always been a very spiritual guy. I definitely don't have the gifts of psychic mediumship as developed as you, but I have been very spiritual. I have been able to perceive spirits and energies and things since I was 15 to 17, but I was also very like mixed up. And when I was going through puberty, and I was much like a loner type, and I felt very misunderstood, and it's like I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere, as I'm sure a lot of you have before. And so I spent a lot of my 20s getting with the wrong crowd, and I was in the military, and I spent a lot of time kind of shutting out that spiritual side of me. I'm not even sure why anymore, but I, at the time it was like, I was lived a very sheltered existence. I got into partying and drugs and alcohol when I was in the Air Force, and then getting out and kind of cleaning up that part of my life. I can't really pin it down to one sort of event, but eventually it was like someone was just kind of knocking on the door to my mind, like, hello, like, when are you going to get back to your spiritual roots and all these things that are waiting for you? And it's just like, it was like a very persistent knocking. And then when I found Reiki, everything really started to fall into place. But I had to get out of a few rough situations with, careers and stuff. So I'm grateful for the journey, as I'm sure you are too.
Yes, I am. Totally. It was a lifesaver. We'll say total. Because the whole point of me helping people in general, like I do now, is just such a heartwarming thing, and it humbles me so much that I'm able to do this. It's just amazing. It amazes me every day what I can do. It just makes me feel so humble. And I told you before when we talked that, people are meant to meet in life because of certain reasons. I now call him my healer, everybody, because for some reason I came across his live one day, and I just felt him doing the Reiki, and the energy just coming through the phone. You can literally feel it. If you're a medium or a practicing medium, we'll say, you can literally feel the energy he's producing from the source through the phone. I've done it so many times. So I was meant to meet up with him. That's why I call him now my healer, just because he's amazing. This man over here is just
I never claim to be a healer because the Reiki energy is channeled through me from source. I am merely as Reiki practitioners, we're merely the conduit through which the energy flows. But I am grateful to be in such a position that I was led to channel this energy, because I do feel that it is wonderful healing energy that deserves to be shared with the world, because no matter where Reiki flows, it uplifts, it enriches lives, it brings abundance, it brings healing and comfort. And it's such a versatile energy that can be applied to literally anything, any circumstance, anything. It's going to go in there. Reiki is going to make it better. no matter where it's sent. So I feel like it's something that everyone needs a little bit more of.
Yeah, the reason I call you my healer is that after today I did 5 readings today, so I'm like zapped out. But when I come into your lives and I just feel the energy, it's just like, okay, back to happy place, we'll say. It's just very, very cool,
I
man.
love that. I love that. I'm grateful that I'm able to provide and facilitate such a space where we can all be recharged and balanced out after a lot of energetic work. Thank you so much, Kat, by the way. You're wonderful. Thank you, Tim. You guys are wonderful people. So yeah, no, it is a blessing to be able to channel and to be able to meet with you, because like we agreed, nothing really happens by accident. There are no coincidences. The fact that we are all together, even just sharing this live stream space virtually over the internet, is no accident. We're all brought together and we're all kind of the same frequency, but we're also vibrating higher, and we're helping ourselves elevate our frequency and our vibration. But we all had to start off somewhere. We all had to go through lessons and stuff. And, I'm just grateful to be able to be here with all of you. And I'm grateful for the journey and the lessons that I got through to get me to where I am today. It's an amazing thing.
And I'm grateful to meet you and to meet everybody in the chat and meet everybody, because it's such a solid thing. You can feel the love, you can feel the kind, everything with all of us. It's amazing. All you guys, all you people in chat, everybody in the subs, you're all amazing. You're just all amazing people.
Wonderful people. Thank you, Brooke, for the latte tea, by the way. So, Ryan, I got to ask you, so you've been active as a psychic medium for about how long now? Because I know you've had the gifts for 30 years, but how long have you been working actively?
About 2.5, say about 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years. I've been actively professional doing this. Okay. Professionally. So yeah, it was a short time right now.
You walk me through
a typical, huh?
Could you walk me through a typical session, how it goes?
Yeah, but I have to go off camera for this. If you want me to do a reading.
Oh no, you don't have to do a reading.
I have an issue.
I'm just asking you to kind of talk me through how it works, basically. I'm just curious how you connect and how you connect with the people that you read for.
Okay, usually I ask for an unfiltered photo of them, or of the loved one they would like to connect with, because it helps me visualize mentally the image of the person I'm seeing to communicate with, or the person I'm reading for. So I always ask for an unfiltered picture. I sit there, I look at the picture, I visualize it in my thoughts, and then from there I do every psychic medium does their different things to connect with the source, we'll say. So I do my little thing there, and I just start I start hearing, feeling, seeing the images of the person or the person I'm connecting to, and it just starts flowing in like water, like you feel it through the wind and all that. So I start typing like a madman, we'll say, in I do it on Facebook. That's my main platform. So I usually do it in a post or comments or something to that effect, usually. I very rarely do it on TikTok or live type of thing, but that's usually how it is. I just ask for unfiltered photo, and I just focus on it, and I just go with what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing and images, and just write it down. Just send it to the person in the post, we'll say. And they get the reading. They can read it whenever they want. And a lot of the groups I read for are feedback based. It's not because we want to know how good we are. It's more of a sharing the love situation. We share our energy and love to read for you. You share the energy and love back to give us how we did on the reading, just for a mutual love, respect thing. So that's basically what I normally do for readings that way. But I also do private readings on occasion, if requested. And all the groups, everything's all free. So pretty much that's how I do things. And my feedback file now is I'm in 3 groups now, and out of 200 readings I've done or connections I've done, I'm kind of proud to say that I've only gotten 4 that were really off the mark out of over 200 readings over the past 3 years. So
that's very impressive.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm up to my own horn. I'm just saying I feel good about knowing that I'm good at this, and I'm not doing something I can't say it on live, like faking it, we'll say, you know, because there's a lot of fakers out there, and you know, and as you know, we've talked about that too. So, you know,
Yeah, there's a lot of scammers. And I guess this is another good time to mention that if anybody reaches out to you claiming to be myself, or Ryan, even for that matter, if anybody claims to be myself and reaching out to you and sending you a strange message, offering you a reading, asking you to send money to a Cash App, just check the name on the account. Make sure that the spelling's correct. I'm not going to reach out to you ever offering a reading or anything like that. I don't think Ryan is either. So just be wary of scammers because they are everywhere, unfortunately.
yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, so Ryan, you say you've done over 200 readings at least.
Yeah.
Could you share with us like maybe some of your craziest or wildest stories, or maybe like some really cool anecdotes from those experiences? As long as it doesn't breach any confidentiality, of course.
Yeah. See, with the groups being private and everything like that, we can't share the feedback personally because of the confidentiality thing.
Oh, of course. Well, do you have any crazy stories related to your mediumship, or just being someone with your gifts in general?
I'm reading your mind. I know what story you're talking about. I'm thinking I know what your story you're talking about. Okay. Okay.
Whatever you feel like sharing.
All right. You guys want to hear a really cool connection I have to someone that was really like a megastar on Earth, which I found out again later on that I was connected to him spiritually too. So I told you about my drunken days back in 20, 30 years ago. So I'm in my backyard having some vodka, just hanging out. All of a sudden, I sort of knew what was going on with the spiritual realm and spirits. So I see the spirit come up to me and he said, "Don't tell him I didn't do it. Tell him I didn't do it. Tell him." And I'm like, I knew who it was. I'll say it after who it was, but they're like, "Don't tell him I didn't do it." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What didn't you do? I didn't know what he was talking about." You remember that story that I told you about? And so what happened there was, I said, "Okay, I'll tell him he didn't do it." I just didn't know what was going on. I just said, "Okay, I'll do it." So I sort of fibbed, but I didn't know what was happening. So I looked to the sky, and the cloud turned into the white glove, we'll say. Okay, a white glove. It just looked like a white glove in the cloud. It was beautiful. So then I went into the house to turn on the TV and just relax. And that's when I found out that Michael Jackson had died. Okay, so that was the really into the whole Michael Jackson I'm connected thing. I found out through another psychic friend of mine that me and Michael were actually brothers together in a past life. I've had like a lot of them, 7 or 8 of them right now. So yeah, so I found out we were a past life, and ever since I found that out, I've been connected to him spiritually ever since. And it's amazing how that totally thing. It was just amazing. You know, because he said to me in the reading, like, "Did you know you're connected to a really megastar?" And I'm like, I knew it, but I didn't tell him that. And he's like, "No." I'm like, "No." He's like, "Michael Jackson." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know that." You know, and everything. I wanted to hear from him, but that was the wildest story I can come up with that I've actually experienced, literally, in my life. Wow. That was kind of amazing to me at that moment. It still is.
So
it's amazing.
Did he tell you anything else? Did he share anything else with you, or has he visited you since that encounter? Oh,
I've had visits with a lot of, I won't say celebrities, or spirits in general, because because to me, in the afterlife, they're spirits. They're not celebrities down here. They're just people, spirits, you know. Right. So with that being said, I've had many spirits come through to me just through music, through TV, through, you know, just listening to music. Like, hypothetically, I can listen. I'm a big Beatles fan, as you know. And I listen to, like, the Beatles once in a while. And all of a sudden, I hear joins of, "This song was about this, and this." I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know, and then so forth. So I have a connection with the music, but I have talked to Michael since he's passed. I have talked to him once or twice. We have connected once or twice. And I've also connected, actually, at least the latest one that I connected with was Lisa Marie Presley. That was the last one I connected.
Yes. That's really interesting. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I could. I had just found out that she passed away on TV. It came on the news when it was official.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate.
I know. She was such a sweetheart, too. She totally was. And I happened to be sitting in my room watching it. All of a sudden, I hear her voice because I was upset. Because I actually no one people may know this, but she was actually on Facebook at one time a few years ago, and it was actually her, not an imposter. And I talked to her for a few months, but we lost contact over the years because I was doing my thing, she did hers. But I knew it was really her, and we had a good conversation for a couple months, but that was it. But I'm sitting there watching her pass away, and I was upset, crying, and she's like, "It's okay," type of thing. And I'm like, "Lisa?" And she ended up staying with me and talking to me for about a week, believe it or not. Because I also have an ability to cross people over on top of that. Everything else I can do.
Wow.
Yeah. So she stayed with me for a week. We got to know each other, talk. And the reason she stayed was because she wanted to see the funeral, see the whole thing. Because when you pass away, you have an option. You can stay and watch the funeral. You have a limit of like 2 weeks to be able to stay and watch the funeral, say bye to friends, spiritually, whatever, to stay, or you can just directly go. And she decided to just take up the 2 weeks, the week, and just stay. So she stayed. I crossed her over. And there was the next night, I remember, the next night after I crossed her over, I was crying upset because she was just on my mind, really heavy. Because, I mean, she is such a pure energy like you are, I am. And she was a really force for positivity, if you think about it. She really was. And what happened with me was I was really upset about it. And she came back. She's like, "Ryan, it's okay, relax. You know, everything's good." You know, I'm just like, she came back a second time after that whole week of spending time with her just to console me and make sure and let me know, "You're okay, relax." And I mean, I owe her a debt right there because, you know, not many spirits, especially celebrities, could come to me and say, console me in a time of sadness. You know, it's just kind of like, wow. So yeah, I've had that happen with celebrities many, many times. I don't speak about it too much because it's just, no one really asked me about it. So if they ask, I'll tell them. But otherwise than that, I keep that really quiet. Well, you know, so I could do multiple things. I'm not just a medium. There's other stuff I can do. I just don't speak about it too much because it's just, you know, my thing, I guess. You know, nobody asked me about it. So,
No, I totally understand.
yeah.
But that's really interesting. You know, I've had a few experiences like that I could share now that I'm really thinking and reflecting, because I did go through a similar period with alcohol and drugs when I was younger, and I do remember a time when I was like 19, 20, and I was using drugs at the time, and I had a friend who I'd known in high school who I think had very recently passed away. She OD'd, and she was still, I think she was like a year younger than me. She was like 18 or something. And I remember she came to me, and you know, in the whatever state I was in, whatever mental state I was in, and she was just kind of like almost mentally slapping me around, like with these harsh words, saying like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, why are you wasting your life? Like, what are you doing?" And I just kind of brushed it off as like, you know, hallucination or something at the time. But I've always thought about that, you know. And but I've had people in my life, yeah, who've died suddenly. I had another friend, Tom, who passed away, I believe in 2014. That was also he OD'd on heroin, and he came to me in a dream one day, and he's just like, "Hey man, you know, everything's all good. Sorry we never hung out again," because he was planning on visiting me in California, and he passed away before he could come out to visit. So he was like apologizing. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "I messed up, you know, I messed up. And it wasn't supposed to be like that, but I messed up and I felt bad. We were like childhood friends." But yeah, and then you mentioned crossing her over, Lisa Marie. That's really beautiful, and that's actually what attracted me to Reiki in the beginning. Was I was reading an Instagram post about a Reiki master from Japan who would visit places where people were experiencing hauntings and, you know, psychic disturbances, and he would cross over spirits that were stuck. And I thought that was just so cool and so like awesome, because I've known for a long time, you know, spirits, ghosts who are trapped there, they're like some of the most agonized, tormented souls, or they don't realize they're dead, and they're just they're very literally stuck in a place where they can't move forward, you know. So I've always wanted to do that, and I did actually. I don't know if she's here tonight, the Astral Angel, but her and I together over distance helped a mutual friend of ours who had a spirit of, it was like a teen or an adolescent who was stuck in the house. We helped them cross over by me sending Reiki and her doing what she did, astral projecting. It was so cool.
I've done the astral projecting too. I do it once in a while for my Michael at his work. So
That's
because
wonderful.
he works in receiving, so he has a lot of boxes, a big little area. So I go in the night before to see if it's clear for him to work the next day, or so it's kind of cool. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Do we
But I've
want
had
to?
visions. So.
Let's get to this question real quick from Kat. She asks, Ryan, do you believe bad energies and spirits can attach themselves to people?
Yes, they actually can. It's a fact. I've seen it actually before my eyes. Actually, I was driving over here by my neighbor's house, and there was this black thing running around in the yard. I could see it clear as day, and I could feel the evil from it. So anyways, long story short, there was a car in front of me going up the road, and I saw literally the spirit jump from the yard to the car into the person. And I'm just like, I didn't know what to do or say, so I let it alone. But yes, it can happen. Yes, I've actually seen that. Yes.
Wow. That is very intense. I haven't known anybody personally who've had attachments, but I know that when I'm in places that are very low vibrational or there's a lot of stagnant energy, and we talk a lot about personal grounding, and we talk a lot about releasing what doesn't serve you because it can form blockages in your body. That also goes for your home too. So if you don't regularly upkeep your home, if you don't regularly clean or sweep, not only can you have, the debris and the dust and the dander, but also energy collects, stagnant energy, and it builds up and it condenses over time, and it forms these heavy, almost like deposits. And if you're in that area, you could feel the heaviness, almost like a weight on your chest. You could feel it very heavy. And when I'm in these places, I'll feel like very dizzy. I'll start feeling just like my senses are on overload. Like I just kind of feel it. It's almost like nails on a chalkboard, and it's a very heavy, dense feeling. But I haven't, fortunately, encountered anyone or known anybody who's had energetic attachments. But
Well, when I first saw it, I didn't really think about it too much, but when I saw it happen in front of me, I was just like, oh, yeah, okay. So it is a real deal, we'll say. So, you know what I mean?
that's wild. Do you have any
It wa-
interactions with that person, or is it just something that?
no. I don't even know the person. I live in a neighborhood where there's houses all around, we'll say. So I didn't know the person from anybody. So I just watched it happen, and I just let the car go. I didn't stop them, no.
Yeah. That'd be weird. Like, hey, a spirit just jumped in
Exactly.
the car. They'd be like,
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So have you worked with anybody who's had energetic attachments before, or things like that of that nature?
Yes, I have. My mentor, who lives out in Tampa, he's contacted me a couple times because of some attachments to where he lives. There's a big deal with where he lives. I'll explain that another time if you'll let me down the road. But he's been attacked by black dark spirits twice already, and I've had to, let's say, cleanse his body, get him off of him, and make him okay. So I've done that twice for him already. So I have done that. I can do that too. So it's not a profession. It's not my thing I do, but at the time he was needed. He was saying all these crazy thoughts, all this evil was coming. I could feel it. And he was talking in riddles, all kinds of craziness going on. I'm like, let me help you. And he said, that's why I called you, is what he said. So I made him okay that time. So
Wow, that's
it was good. It was cool.
By the way, hello Bailey, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Kat was asking, how would you go about detaching the spirit from the person?
I've never personally had to say experience that, like firsthand, how to detach them. But you can, like clergy. I've heard. It's almost like you've heard of exorcism. We'll say it's sort of like it's like a mini exorcism, mini one. So ask for clergy, or just have a cross in your house and say, please, God, take this evil away from this person. But if you can't, it's more of a clergy, holy type thing issue on their end to get them completely out. Because with demon spirits, bad spirits, there's small, medium, and large. So there's 3 levels of demon spirits that can attach to you if you're not careful. So I've dealt with I've dealt with them all at one time or another, but just people's knowledge, there's 3 levels of demons that can attach themselves to you, just so you know.
I have read that if you are dealing with negative entities or spirits in your home or around you, that you can very easily exert your will and without showing fear or without showing any kind of anxiety, very firmly state that you want them to leave, that this is your space, and they will generally leave after that once you put your foot down, you put your energetic foot down. And if not, I've also heard things like ringing bells, banging pots and pans, lots of laughter, even healing frequencies are really good for kind of like dispelling negative entities and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because the minute you say to them, this is my house, leave in God's name, I rebuke you, into that type of effect will get them out of your house. But if it's a high level, they'll look at you and just laugh. We'll say, in a sense. So the heavier the evil, the worse it'll be. The lighter the evil, the easier it'll be, type of thing. If that makes total sense.
It does.
So if you have a light demon, like a medium high, medium low, they'll pop off and leave. But if there's one that's a recurring, keep staying thing, that's when you'd really have to get the clergy or some holy involved into it. If they refuse to leave.
Hopefully, there's not too many people out there with like really high level.
I pray that there's not many. No, I pray that.
So, Kat, you had a demon in your last house, like a sleep paralysis demon, but you still have nightmares.
Yeah.
I think Kat wants to get with you about a session.
Yeah, Catherine, definitely. All you to do is DM me on here, and then we'll just talk and take it from there. Or if you're on Facebook by chance, you can find me on Facebook. My name is Psychic Bear Ryan. You type that in on Facebook. You find me and my boyfriend Mike.
Psychic Bear Ryan.
Yeah.
Would that be someone, Bear Michael? Thank you for the 2 roses.
That's my Michael right there. Yeah. Hi, Mike.
Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you being here.
That's my Mike. Hi, Mike. Love you.
Bailey, just want to say that I'm sending you lots of love and healing. I am sorry that you got an eviction notice today, and I'm sorry that your husband's in the ER, but I'm glad he's okay. And I appreciate you being here.
Maybe it's about time. I think they could use some Reiki because I'm feeling a lot of energy difference. What do you think?
I can definitely channel some Reiki. I'm just reading through the chat messages really quick. Valfreya was saying, if you can hear asking them, is there something you want from me? Okay,
that could be true too. I actually understand what he meant. If you ask the spirit, the bad spirit, what do you want from me? 10 to 1, they'll I don't want to say it on live, bad word, but they're talking out. They're talking out. They could tell you anything just to get you to do what they want you to do, and that's all. So be wary of that. If you ask them, what do you want me, whatever, be prepared because they would be 10 to 1 lying just to get your attention.
That's that brings up another good question, but really quick, I'm going to address Kat. She says, so Ryan, what would someone need to do to set up a session with you?
Like I said, just DM me a message on here, or if you want it on Facebook, either or. I strictly do DMs or messages, basically, because this is how I work, how I'm used to doing things. So either just message me, say, hey, it's Catherine, can we talk? Or just say, hi, I'll be happy to talk to you and get to, and help you with the issue you're having. Definitely. No problem there.
That sounds great. That brings up another question, which I was thinking of, because I think we talked about this when we spoke over Zoom, but we talked a lot about connecting with our spirit guides. And we've talked a lot about it throughout the Reiki sessions because our spirit guides are always with us and they stand by literally ready to assist us. They want us to talk to them. They want us to have a relationship with them. They send us signs. They send us repeating numbers. They send us imagery and symbols for us to pick up on, hoping that we'll get the message, that we're being led in the right direction. Do you have any advice for people out there that are seeking to connect with their spirit guide?
Well, we addressed that, I think, in the last live. I was watching it in chat. Somebody asked that same question. I was trying to answer it, but I think you were just ending the live.
Yeah, that's fine. We can talk about it.
Yeah, the meditation helps a lot. you can just ask your guides to come through meditate. If you meditate, just focus, 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 and just say, will you please reveal yourselves? And they will reveal themselves that way. And with the spirit guides thing, you can have many. You can have as many as, basically, let's just say in a nutshell, you can have your whole family as spirit guides, literally, your entire family. So it varies on spirit guides with each individual energy on Earth. So as with me, I have 7, but that includes 4 angels that are watching me, guarding me, we'll say, at all times. So I have 4 of them and 3 guides. So yeah, it varies on guides. It depends on your energy and what the source would like to put in place to help you on your path. So you can definitely have as many guides. You have tons. I've heard people have at least 20 I've heard of. So
Yeah, most of us do have several guides. I know we all have at least one that we're assigned, and usually there's somebody that we've known in past lives. There's somebody that we've worked with over the course of lifetimes, and they're usually like a very close, trusted friend and advisor, often family, like you said, people that we've known through many lifetimes. And that's really, really beautiful. I love talking about spirit guides.
Yeah, it could be family, could be friends, could be, ex-husbands, or not ex-husbands, but like past husbands or past wives. It could be anybody. It's awesome. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of I had something on the tip of my tongue about yes. So one of the things my spirit guide was kind of pushing me towards, and now I've kind of like run with it. But it's the concept of taking your water and charging it and speaking to it before drinking it. So I don't know if you've heard this concept.
I have.
But like taking water, because water is sacred, water is living. And the water reacts to like how we treat it and the emotions that we send to it. So I was shown through my spirit guides to always take your water, express gratitude for that water, and tell your water that you love it, and literally just hold on to the water and just imagine that love pouring in through your hands and just invigorating every water molecule and just charging it up with love and then drinking it. You could also do that for different types of intentions. But I guess what I'm trying to say right now is that like everything is like so energetic, everything that we think is mundane and physical, like eating food or drinking water, for example, everything has like an energetic frequency. So drinking charged water, you have on one side of the spectrum, and then drinking like, a Dr. Pepper or something on the other side. No offense to anybody who drinks Dr. Pepper out there. But that's why I always try to talk about getting away from processed foods, and eating organic and eating whole foods and foods that you cook yourself and prepare yourself, because processed foods have just such a low vibrating frequency because there's not much love or care and attention that goes into it. It's mass produced, it's made in a factory by machines. But when you have like home cooked meals that people can actually put their energy and their love into, that energy translates when you consume it. So it's just so much more important. As Kat says, don't be dissing my Dr. Peppy.
That's why I was laughing.
I knew I was going to hit somebody with the Dr. Pepper. It was the first soft drink I could think of. But it would be a joy for me if I could see everyone in this chat right now just drinking wonderfully love-charged water. But I know it's hard. Like when I was young, I loved my Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I love Dr. Pepper. I'm a soda junkie. Yeah, I won't lie. Yeah.
Bailey said, your spirit guides have been showing you 444, 777, and 888 lately. What do you think about the different repeating numbers that were sent and their meanings and the numerology and stuff like that? Can you talk a little bit about that? Or even just signs from
I have a friend that in one of the groups. Like with the 447788, whatever 3-number thing is sort of a sign directly from above, obviously. And it's more of a, how they say, I'm not really big on numerology, but I've talked to a friend, like I said, that reads with me in one of the groups who's a numerologist. So she told me a little bit about it. Every number represents you in some way, shape, or form. So, like for instance, I saw in my car today 777, right? So something to do with 777 relates to me. So if you're seeing the 44, the 77, it's total coming from above to you. To figure out what it means, the only thing I could advise is like Google, the only way, because I don't numerologize too much. I just see the numbers and I'm like, oh, okay, hello, how you doing from above? So I just Google the numbers like 44. It has a whole. I've Googled some numbers because I've been curious myself, as we all have. So I've seen it shows meanings of 444. So it shows all individual meanings. You just have to go and search a little bit, but you will be able to find them.
I definitely think a key thing to remember is to focus on what you were thinking or feeling at the moment you saw the numbers, because that'll be a key into deciphering the message that you're being shown. Like, focus on where your thoughts were trending, what you were focused on, and when you saw the numbers, and kind of let that be your guide when researching.
Yeah, because whatever thought you had, like he was right, whatever thought you had, whatever image you had at the time is relevant to the numbers, to you, all in a big full spectrum. He's right. Yes.
By the way, Bailey, I am sorry that you're getting evicted from your place, but absolutely the universe has your back and your spirit guides know what's best for you. And I know that there are some beautiful changes coming in your life, but a lot of times to get to where we want to be, we have to move through periods of discomfort and the unknown, and we have to move through a lot of fear to get to where we want. But that's how the universe pushes us to grow and pushes us to really step into our power, by allowing us to move through this fear and allowing us to come through the other side and realize that we are stronger than that fear. And that by believing and trusting in ourselves and trusting in the universe, we're being led to the places where we're meant to be.
Exactly.
But I think we mentioned doing a little bit of Reiki. Maybe we could channel a little bit of Reiki as we close. And if anybody has more questions for Ryan, we could ask some questions. And I'm going to send some Reiki just to kind of ease any tensions or ease any stress. And maybe we'll use a couple of stones. I've got my black tourmaline here, which I really love. I've got my chrysocolla here, and I brought my whole dish. I don't actually show this on stream, but I have a lot of my various crystals in here in this like selenite dish. So they're all constantly being cleansed and stuff. So yeah. Maybe you could share a cool story with us while I'm channeling Ryan.
I haven't really had too many.
What's something that happened to you, like as a psychic medium? What's something that happened to you where you were just like shook?
Okay.
You're just
I
completely
have a couple.
amazed at how beautiful the universe is, or something like that.
Okay, I could go on one story I have. I was like, basically, like we were talking earlier, I was basically groomed from the beginning to do this. So they'll say the source is always, always, always testing me for new stuff with spirituality and spirits in general. So I was one time sitting in a group reading, doing a reading for a group. And I'm sitting there and I saw this picture of a old man in a hospital bed. And I'm like, I thought it'd be a normal reading, think nothing of it, whatever. And anyways, what happened then was I started the reading. Next thing I know, I felt something come in my back. It felt like a whole big energy push right in my back. And I'm just like, whoa. And all of a sudden I didn't feel like myself at all. And so what happened was, it was a spirit possession. Spirits can actually come into you and take over your body for a few minutes. Your spirit guides will help explain and help get them out quick.
So the spirit, you were doing what exactly? And the spirit just popped right in?
Yeah, I was doing a reading for the person in the group.
Oh, you were doing a reading. So this just wasn't just random.
Yeah, just random out of the blue.
And this was a spirit that was connected to the person you were reading for.
Because I remember I told you about how I look at unfiltered photos. The lady put a picture of her dad in a hospital bed. Okay. And that's why I didn't think anything of it. But that happened to me, spirit possession. So for about 10, 15 minutes, I'm typing as him. Like literally, we were one. So wow. We're both doing it at once, yeah. And then, I did the reading, I left. He popped out of me through my stomach, and I'm just like, So for 3 days after that, I had stomach and back pain for 3 days. It was just like crazy.
Really? So it kind of left, it almost left kind of like an energetic residue from the entry and exit.
Yes, exactly. I just felt it for days after. Just the pain from the intro, outro, we'll say, completely.
That is wild.
It was
That is
wild.
wild.
So yeah, that was the wildest thing that's ever happened to me psychically while I've been doing this. And like I said, they're constantly testing me with all different kinds of stuff all the time. And sometimes they catch me off guard too, which is kind of cool. You know, because always, what people have always said to you, the spirit works in mysterious ways, the source works in mysterious ways. That is a fact. They'll give you what you need to know, what your knowledge. They'll give it all to you at a certain timing. Timing is everything with these. The spirit source, timing is everything. That's what they totally is. Their whole design, we'll say. So if the timing's right, like say for instance, hypothetically, you know, like you get like not evicted, but you know the bad to the good. There's reasons behind the bad happening. There's reasons behind it all, timing wise, everything. So don't ever think that something happening bad in your life is a curse or a bad thing or just something out of the blue that happened. It was already meant to be for you to experience it, for you to go through it. And there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, I can guarantee you and promise you there will be.
Just
It was all
about
meant.
every challenge or every bad thing that's happened to me, or every relationship ending or breakup or anything like that, where at the time I was just like wailing and crying and just screaming at the universe, like, why is this happening to me? Why can't I just get my way? And it's all ego. And it's not till sometimes even years later where you look back and you realize exactly why it had to happen the way it did. And it's for your own growth, for your own journey, and you understand. And once you get to a point where you can not only appreciate but express gratitude for those difficult times in your life because they helped shape you into the person you would become. And without those experiences, you might not be where you are today. You might be a completely different person. You might be worse off, you know. But I think that's really wonderful. I'm sorry about your TikTok being wonky, Bailey. Valfreya said my ex had one that I could see when he walked because it would drag behind him when he walked. Like an attachment? That just chilled me a little bit to the bone.
Yeah.
Valfreya says, do you have any experience with water elementals?
That's on you. I have never.
I don't have any experience with water elementals, no. I mean, usually when I go into a forest or I step into a nature setting, I usually kind of ask permission, or I just kind of say like, hey, hello to the nature spirits that are around, just saying like, hey, I'm coming in. Is it okay? And then I usually say some kind of I express thanks and gratitude for like, hey, thanks for letting me be here and share this energy.
Yeah, there was one time I live right next. I'm in a forest where I live, literally a whole big forest. I just happen to be a part of the forest, like the one with nature. And there's a little area next to me with a little forest where a house used to be. And I sometimes just go for walks in the afternoon, relax, mellow, meditate a little bit. There's a lot of spirits over there. Let me tell you. And I have a couple Indian friends over there too, actually.
There's a lot of history in Florida for sure, and a lot of I'm sure a lot of tragedy and things like that. Kat was asking an age-old question. So, what happens to us when we die? Do you believe there is a heaven or hell?
Mm-hmm. Yes, but the what my side of things is what I deal with is mainly the divine. So I'm seeing a lot of the heavenly side. I don't really know that I know there is a hell. There actually is a hell, but I don't see it as much since I'm working for the divine side of things. I'm very aware of it. There is a hell, but the way they look at it from above is there's many different hells. We'll say there's many different hells.
What I would consider to be a hell, personally, is a very low vibrating spiritual realm.
Yeah, it's really below everything. You are right. Yeah, but I mean, there's different things involved with that, and there definitely is. Well, like I said, people think down here there's one, but there's actually like many different little ones. We'll say, depending on your life review, how bad you were, how good you were.
But I know that all of what happens to us after death is all, and especially being here in these bodies, is all for our growth and our moving towards enlightenment, moving towards raising our frequency, our vibration, expanding and growing our consciousness. Even the lessons that we learn and some of the most difficult challenges, and when we make mistakes, some even worse mistakes, all of the coaching and all of the guiding post death between lifetimes is all done with love for the purpose of our growth and for us to be better than we were before. And sometimes it does take lifetimes because we're not perfect. Sometimes it takes a long time to drill that lesson into our head because of our egos and different things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Every day you live on this earth is a day of learning, is the way I look at it. If you see something like you never heard before, or look at something, that's learning. And I mean, every day you learn is you're getting better and better and better. Like he said, it does take lifetimes, and it takes a variety of times, But he is right. It's all about love, caring, growth in your life now, and that really is what matters with this on Earth. He's
Absolutely.
right.
I'm just lighting a little Palo Santo. Is there like a noise going on in the background, Ryan? Someone said it sounds like dial up.
Dial up. I have an AC going.
Oh, okay. It's an AC unit. You've already got the air conditioning on in March in Florida?
Moving away. I think. Well, yeah. What's winter? What's cold?
It's getting warm.
We have 43 degrees. Yeah.
For contrast, I've come to upstate New York, and it's 37 degrees outside when I arrived. I don't know what the temperature is now, but it was 37.
Yeah. I couldn't handle that right now. I'm so used to this acclimated weather down here.
I've got some Palo
we've had days,
by the way.
Mm-hmm. Is that better, Catherine? Nice and quiet.
It does sound. I can hear the crickets if I'm not mistaken.
I'm
out there too. Wow.
Yeah, I'm in a forest. I'm literally out in the middle of the boonies.
That's so beautiful. That is
well, that's where the source wanted me to be.
That is, as I get older, I feel increasingly drawn to natural spaces, and I feel increasingly drawn to making my existence by like living off the land and trying to return to nature as much as possible, and like growing my own food, cultivating like microgreens, like juicing vegetables and things like that. I just feel so drawn to that kind of life. It's so rewarding. I had the opportunity to get an indoor garden over the past winter because like I said, I live in an apartment. I can't really have an outdoor garden. So there's an indoor garden and it grows like vertically with hydroponics. And it was just so amazing because I was able to like play tuning forks for the plants and send them Reiki and grow them with love and intention. And then as they grow, like eat the vegetables, and it's like they just taste so good and they're so nourishing, and you could feel the good energy that like they've grown with, and you could feel their vibration. It's so amazing. It's absolutely wonderful. I just had a little Palo Santo going there just to purify the space once again.
I want to thank you so much for what you're doing. You are helping so many people, and you don't realize how far you're getting out there.
I appreciate that so much because I know, and I think you've expressed this earlier tonight, but sometimes there is like a little bit of imposter syndrome when you're doing this, because like it does feel, it's so awe-inspiring and it's so amazing kind of getting these impressions or feeling this energy, even on a daily basis when I'm feeling Reiki or I feel the change, or if I got like a cut and I'm applying Reiki to it, how fast it heals. And I'm just amazed at like still like a little kid, like, holy crap, I can't believe this is real,
Well, I'm getting amazed constantly with the gifts. I'm learning gifts I don't even have. I'm learning that I have. I'm learning them as I go along. So every day to me is amazing because something new is coming in. Something, because for instance, hypothetically speaking, I could never see into the future before. I can now, and it happened like last week. But it was amazing how this transformed this energy into me, and I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. You know, it was just like, just the whole thing to me was just the whole ordeal. The ordeal was more of the whole having that gift brought in was just amazing. Everything's amazing
Wow,
to me.
that's
I look
wild.
at
I
every,
think
yeah,
we even
look,
talked about that last night very briefly, where we talked about dreams that are like premonitions, and
exactly.
how
They
you've
can
had
be,
some of
yes.
those.
Yeah, they can be, yes. Yes,
That's
always
really
watch for your
wild.
dreams. Always watch for your dreams because dreams could tell you of like, it's when you, all right, can I explain a little bit to this before you sign off?
Go ahead.
When you're sleeping, you literally are in both realms. When you're sleeping, you are in heaven and you are on earth. So, 10 to 1, the dreams you're seeing or visualizing when you wake up and you remember them, those are ones you're in both worlds. So they're sending you those messages from heaven. Those dreams are messages. It's up to you as a person to figure them out. It's like a puzzle. I always call it a puzzle because I have dreams the same way where they're just bizarre, don't make any sense. But like say like a week or two later, I'm like, oh, that's what that dream meant. Type of thing just hits you like a ton of bricks. So that the dreams are definitely meaningful. Definitely
I always
have.
advocate for writing down dreams and keeping a dream journal because, especially after receiving a Reiki healing or any type of energy healing, as you're releasing, you might have different dreams. You might receive messages or downloads in your dreams. So, making a regular practice of keeping a dream journal can be very instrumental towards your growth and healing journey. So, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Hmm.
Wow. Well, I believe that's all the time we have for tonight. It really just flew by, didn't it?
Yes, it did. We got to get talking and talking. Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on, Ryan. I really appreciate you being
Thank you so
here.
much. Thank you so much for
Um,
having me. Thank you so much.
Once
Thank you.
again, can you share with everyone how could people get in touch with you if they're interested in connecting for a reading?
Okay, I'm connected on Facebook at Psychic Bear Ryan. That's my name. If you type it in on Facebook, you'll see a picture of me and my Bear Michael 5 person, my fiance. And on here, just DM me, find me as Psychic Bear Ryan on here, and just type me a message, say, hey, I'd like to connect and talk to you. I'll be right there. I'll be happy to be at your service. All free.
Wonderful.
No problem. No problem.
So go give him a follow, Psychic Bear Ryan. Thanks again for being on the show tonight. Much love, man. Really appreciate
Much
you.
love. Thank you for
And
having me. Thank you.
yeah, wonderful. And everyone out there, thank you so much for being on tonight. I will be back. What's today? Thursday?
Yes.
Tomorrow, I will be on YouTube on Spirit Pond, my YouTube channel, with a live Reiki healing there at 9 p.m. Eastern. I love you all. Love you, Ryan. Thank you for being
Love
on
you.
once again. Everyone,
Yeah,
have a
love you.
wonderful rest of your night. Sweet dreams. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.